Are you living with purpose, passion, and making a difference in your life's journey? Well, you've come to the right place. The X Factors to Success podcast radio show. Great day to you all. Welcome to the X Factors to Success podcast radio show. I am your host, Ruggiero Fratarcangeli, also known as the G-Man. And today on the X Factors to Success, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest. But before we introduce the guest, I want to open up with a wonderful quote. A quote by Booker T. Washington. And it goes as follows. I have learned that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he or she had to overcome while trying to succeed. Booker T. Washington. And today's guest, she is definitely a wonderful, wonderful human being, making a difference in the world and really challenging many people to embrace. So this wonderful woman on our show today, she's a soulmate strategist and a love mentor, helping people to find connected love in a disconnected world. After a very successful career in recruitment, where she worked her way up to a manager, she decided to quit her job and sell her property, and she could set up a business and follow her purpose. That's right, following her purpose. She's a huge advocate of the law of attraction, which led her to speak at Europe's largest personal development event called the You EXPO, within 2 months setting up her business. She is now working alongside some of the biggest players in Europe, and her personal mentor is Niyc Pidgeon, who was one of the top 20 female entrepreneurs to be invited to Necker Island by Sir Richard Branson, may I say, in 2017. After a decade of disastrous relationships, she's decided that something needed to change if she's going to find the man of her dreams, and that thing was her. She started meditating and using the law of attraction, and her life transferred, leading to find her soulmate within 18 months. Now she helps others do the same, and her intention is to help to create a world where everyone believes true love and won't settle for anything less. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and pleasure to introduce to you the beautiful and the wonderful Kelly Pretty. Kelly, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show and taking time off your busy schedule, making things happen and traveling and speaking and so on and so forth, Kelly. So welcome.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. And I'm so excited to be here and be speaking to you. Your energy is amazing. So I'm just really happy to be here in your company. Thank you.
Well, it's amazing how we met about 2 months ago here in New York, and you are located in wonderful London, England.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm from Scotland, but I'm located in London now, and I came over to New York and met you, and and here I am now.
You see how the law of attraction just puts people in alignment, and you came to speak at the Long Island of Law of Attraction, and you gave a wonderful presentation. You made lots of little breakthroughs on the individuals who were there, who were very, very impressed, and I know that many things are happening on your way. So this show is going to be awesome because a lot of our audiences are expecting unique speakers and people with experiences who achieved success, who are achieving success, but yet are sharing their trials and tribulations. Everyone sees the success of what's in front of them, but what happens to the journey of the past? So Kelly, I know today you're going to share with us some wonderful tips and strategies, and of course in your field of work is the love soulmate strategist, as you indicated. So Kelly, let's have this conversation. Let the audience enjoy who you are and your accent. Just tell us about yourself. Give us a little bit of more insight after my introduction.
Yeah, so basically, I, as you mentioned, I worked in recruitment and worked my way up to a country manager. And when it came to men, over that period of time, I was pretty much a disaster. So that was for about a decade, where my relationships were just really turbulent, pretty, just really kind of pretty dysfunctional, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I after 10 years, I was like, okay, so something isn't quite right here. There's a pattern, and throughout that whole pattern, I'm the person that is in every single one of these relationships. So I'm gonna have a look at myself and see what might be holding me back from being able to have a truly loving relationship. So I did that. I was dumped about 2 years ago now, and I took some time out for myself, and I actually learned about the law of attraction. My ex, he actually introduced me to the law of attraction, which proves that everything happens for a reason, obviously. Mm-hmm. And he introduced me to it, and I watched The Secret. And from there, I then managed to manifest my soulmate. So now I help other people do the same thing, which is amazing. I absolutely love it.
Super duper. Yeah, I really enjoyed your presentation a few months ago back here in New York. And for those of us who are listening who have not seen or read The Secret by Rhonda Smith, you must take the opportunity and go on Netflix, go on YouTube, go on to your library at there, download the book. It's awesome, because this is how Kelly and I have met. Again, we ask, believe, and receive. As we put things out to the universe, what happens, and people somehow appears and put things in position. Again, universe, God, spirit, and so on. So awesome. Well, thank you very much for giving us a little more insight of your journey. So many things have happened. As I mentioned, also, you just recently was on a show, on the pretty big show in England there, the Expo, right? As I think I mentioned, right? The Best of You, or the Best You Expo. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it's basically an exhibition in the UK. It was in London in the Olympia. So it was pretty big. There was about 15,000 people there. And it was about 300 inspirational speakers there for 2 days, as well as lots of stands, just kind of promoting themselves across various fields, including meditation, magazines, journaling, all of that sort of stuff. So it was a real kind of personal development event, and it was just a great high vibe energy. And I was really lucky to get the opportunity to speak. And I also had a stand there at the exhibition as well for the 2 days. So my talk was called How to Find Your Soulmate When You Don't Have a Minute to Breathe. Yeah.
In a busy lifestyle, we all running, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the irony is that you do need to take a minute to breathe and meditate in order to find your soulmate. So yeah, it was an incredible experience. I felt really grateful. I just recently started my business up at the beginning of the year, and things have been progressing really quickly. So I am so grateful to the universe for everything that's happening right now.
Super. I love it. Kelly, when we first met and we connected, and now we're also friends on social media and seeing what things that happened with you, and such as myself also, this new podcast show, bringing some great people like yourself. You exude passion. You just walk with passion. There's a glow that you exude. So this passion that you have in life right now, you're building this new business. Give us some more details. Give us some nuggets, golden nuggets. What's been your success so far up to this point? Because you have a lot of things going on now.
In terms of the business, okay. So yeah, I've been really lucky because I actually took a really bold move, and I sold my property. I obviously quit my job in recruitment, and then I moved countries to move in with my boyfriend. So I used the law of attraction to sell my property for a very overinflated price.
Awesome.
But the market's really good in Edinburgh, which was where my flat is, or was. But, I was very fortunate with that. So I've decided with that money to invest it in myself and the business. So with that in mind, I've been able to move the business forward a lot quicker, I guess, because I've been able to work and have mentors that I could only have dreamed of before. So one of the the great things that I've managed to achieve is working with Niyc Pidgeon, who you mentioned before. She's absolutely incredible, and I can already see my business moving forward really quickly in terms of growth and clientele and helping as many people as I possibly can. The speaking has taken off a lot quicker than I ever envisaged, to be honest with you. I'm actually speaking tomorrow at a event for they're basically an events company in the UK called Alternatives. And
okay.
I love them. So my goal has always been to do an alternatives event, so much so that I actually reached out to them in December before my business was really set up. And I wrote a big email saying, I'd love to work with you guys and do an event. And I only heard back the other day, and they've asked me to do an event tomorrow. So I'm so excited. They literally do events with like Deepak Chopra. He's coming up
gosh, absolutely.
today.
Yeah.
And the Gabby Bernstein, Marianne Williamson.
Okay.
So all of the kind of spiritual leaders. I'm just very, very grateful that I'm getting to do an event with them tomorrow. So it just proves I wrote down that goal in December, and now I'm getting to work with them. And yeah, I would say that that's a really big kind of
love it.
goal.
Awesome. Congratulations, and much more success in there. So, are you lucky? The people say, Kelly, you're so lucky. Do you think people are just lucky?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think that every person in this world has the ability to follow their purpose and live their dream, but it's not as easy as just, as I've just said there. Obviously, we all have challenges in life. We all have difficulties that pop up. But I think really living by the law of attraction helps you to overcome those challenges a lot quicker and stay in that positive mindset. And often I find that if you go through a real tough challenge, or even just a small challenge, like your laptop not working or something, if you basically keep thinking positively, usually something will happen afterwards that really takes you by surprise. And it's kind of, I like to think of it as the universe saying, okay, well done, Kelly. Here you go. Here's your little prize for your positivity efforts. But no, I think hard work and resilience is key as well in any industry.
And as you said, you have goals. And I'm sure you have written those goals, right? Do you visualize those goals?
Yeah, I do all of that.
Right.
So every day I will do a visualization on 3 years' time, where I want to be in 3 years' time. I do that every morning. I do I'm not sure if you've heard of Omvana app. It's Vishen Lakiani's app called Omvana. And he does a thing called a 6-phase meditation. And in that, you get to do your 3-year visualization. Okay. So I love that. And then, so I do that meditation, and it includes gratitude, and it includes, forgiveness of others and forgiveness of yourself. And also just kind of a connecting meditation. It's fabulous. And then after that, I write down all of my intentions for the day, my goals, my affirmations, and I write it all down every single day. And then at the end of the day, I go back and look at what I've achieved. And some days is incredible, like crazy things happen.
So once you have that in your mindset, you do this become a habit, right? So these are behaviors that you've made a change in your life, Kelly. So what has led you to this new way of thinking, new way of changing your trajectory? What's one thing you want to share with the audience that really you've seen that you moved from Scotland to England, you dropped everything, you sold your property, and you really now, you have faith, and there's a strong faith and strong passion to live a purpose, as you mentioned. What triggered you into the new behavior?
So I've been really lucky, as I mentioned, with my career. Oh, yeah, but I just said I don't believe in luck. So
Kelly, we create the luck, right? If you're prepared, you are aware, and you seize the opportunity, you take a road, left or right. Being prepared, right? And having direct purpose, clarity of purpose, we take the right road. And that road may not be the perfect road, but will it take us to another road?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I love that. So I think to answer your question, when I was working in recruitment, I really did manage to work my way up pretty quickly at a young age. And every goal I got to, I was like, oh, great. What's my next goal? When am I going to get there? And that was what I lived for every day. And it gave me purpose and it gave me drive. And literally last December, I decided, right, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to go and book a holiday to Bali and go to Bali for 5 weeks by myself.
Oh,
because
wow.
yeah, it was incredible. I absolutely loved it.
All alone, by yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because by that point, I'd started meditating. I started to believe that there was something bigger than me. I was single and I thought, you know what, I'm going to just go for it because I really want to prove to myself that this universe stuff is real. And I think the best way of doing that is throwing myself out of my comfort zone. So I did that, and I had been working towards my promotion to director. So I basically was a little bit off my target, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I think I was probably about £100,000 off, but it was for that whole office. So it was minimal in terms of how much money we were bringing in, but it was still quite a way off my actual target for my promotion. So I remember this day, and this proves that the law of attraction works. And I just want to tell you this story before I tell you about my trigger moment.
Please share with us. The audience is loving this. I can tell already. Come on.
So I basically, the day before I went to Bali, my promotion was due to happen or not happen before I went on holiday, or basically I would find out before I went away. And I remember I was still about £70,000 off my target, and I kept convincing myself, oh, it's okay, the universe is going to help me, I'm going to get my promotion, I'm going to get my director promotion. And I just kept believing it. And I had this meltdown one day. And I remember I went in the shower and I just started crying. And I was like, I'm not going to get this promotion. I'm £70,000 off this
So you're
promotion.
telling yourself you can't make it. You can't. Oh.
Like I just had this absolute meltdown in the shower. And then I eventually was like, right, okay, I got out, I manned up. I was like, right, pep talk, you can do this. And I had this in my head for a year. I was like, I'm going to get promoted to director. It's already here, and really believed it and felt that energy. And I got out of the shower after my meltdown, and my phone was ringing. And I went to pick my phone up.
Don't tell me.
My boss. Yeah. He said, he basically just said, Kelly, I know you're going to Bali tomorrow. I have news, and I'm promoting you. And I started crying, tears of joy. And I have never gone from tears of sadness to tears of joy quickly in my life. And I went to Bali. It was the most incredible thing. And once I got there, to be honest, once I got to that level, I didn't really have anywhere else to go. And I thought, well, now what? Now what do I do? Do I just sit here and do this job till I retire? Because I'm only 30. I don't want that to be the case. And I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt like that fulfillment lasted literally an hour. And I was like, this is amazing. I'm a director. Finally, I hit my goal of director before 30. And that was my goal. And when it happened, I was like, oh, that's gone. And that was a trigger point for me that went, what is lacking here? Because I've managed to hit every goal that I've ever wanted to hit. And now I don't feel anything inside. And I realized in that moment that what was missing is I wasn't helping other people, and I was living for myself and I wasn't living for others. And that was my trigger moment.
So you reached your goal, you have reached the promotion, you got so excited, and you said, wow, what's next? It's amazing how short-lived a successful event happens, right? If you don't have anything else preceding that. So clarity of purpose and a year goal, a 2-year goal, and a 3-year goal, as you mentioned earlier in your talk there. And now you mentioned something very interesting, serving others, serving others. And I truly believe also as well, in my work I'm doing right now is speaking, training, coaching, and now this podcast, reaching out to people who might find this podcast, Kelly, to be inspiring and energizing and could trigger someone like, you know what, if she did it, I can do it too. So by helping others and serving others, this is how the earth will move forward. The human spirit moves forward. And when you're of a greater service, you are sending out to the universe graciousness and gratitude. The attitude of gratitude to move forward and to achieve a higher goal. That's awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
So, Kelly, you have role models. Now, Niyc Pidgeon, I must have mispronounced her name earlier. Niyc Pidgeon. So, who would you say are your top 3 role models besides Niyc here? Can you share with us?
Yeah, besides Niyc. So yeah, I can. I absolutely love Gabrielle Bernstein. I don't know if you've heard of her, but
I've been in her presence at one of the events here in New York.
Have you?
Yes, along with the late great Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Wow! Yeah, he's incredible.
Yes, so I've had Gabrielle Bernstein. She's an incredible woman. She is.
She is. I absolutely love her. She is just so incredible at what she does, and I think she's just making such an amazing impact in the world, and she's a huge leader for me. For those of you who don't know her, she's really well known in the spiritual world, and she has written a lot of books. She's a New York Times bestseller, and my favorite book that she's written is called The Universe Has Your Back. And that was probably a really big deciding factor of me, selling my property, moving countries. And I decided in Las Vegas when I read her book, which is quite a weird place to read Gabby Bernstein.
Hey, anything happens in Vegas, right? So for you, it was a spiritual moment to really align yourself to the greater purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I love her. I love Lewis Howes. Yeah, I know that we are both big fans.
I am a big fan of Lewis Howes and have all his books, and of course, The School of Greatness, and his latest book on being vulnerable,
Mask of Masculinity.
The Mask, yeah. And so, Gabrielle Bernstein, Lewis Howes, who else?
I want to find out who your mentor is in a second.
Yeah.
I think I've got to say I'm really fortunate for the people that I have been working with recently. So, I mentioned Niyc, but also I've got a couple of other people that are really inspirational in my life right now, and you won't necessarily know them. They're both authors in the UK. One's called Jodie Shield, and she's my kind of intuitive coach. And the other one is called Lucy Sheridan, and she helped me with my brand, and she's a great mentor as well. So, I like to put a couple of people in there that you maybe don't know, but they're both incredible individuals.
Across the Atlantic Ocean, but yet we're all one world, Kelly, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
And we'll
share. Who's yours?
So mine is Jack Canfield. And Jack Canfield, the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's been inspiring. I mean, teaching the success principles. And the number one principle that I'm going to always share on this show, because it's part of the X factors to success, taking 100% responsibility for your life and results. And number 2, clarity of purpose. Be clear of what you want. Once you have that in alignment, then you set your goals, unleash the goals and affirmations, and put things in place. So over 64 principles, and there are key 15 are essential in our life every day. Again, leaning forward, ask, again, release the brakes, going forward, making things happen, and look inside your heart, look inside your soul, because our hearts and soul have the answers, which enlightens us to follow our dreams and passions to succeed. So Jack has been, mine is also Les Brown. I've had Brian Tracy, and of course Tony Robbins has been.
I've met Brian Tracy, actually.
You have?
Yeah.
Awesome. He's an awesome man. He's a gem also as well. He's got a great amount of knowledge, and over the years, over 40, 50 plus years of teaching success and personal development, he's awesome. And one other one which I studied quite a bit, Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn, a man who passed on back in 2009 and was a big influencer and coach for Tony Robbins. And if you listen to a lot of Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn is a lot there. So,
I'm going to watch Tony, actually. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to watch Tony for the first time in April. He's gonna be in London, and I'm really lucky. I'm getting to go. So I'm super excited about that because I sent my brother, he's based in LA. I sent my brother to watch Tony in November 2017, so last year, because he was in a pretty tough place and it was pretty life transforming for him. So I can't wait to go and experience Unleash the Power Within.
Are you going to the Unleash the Power Within by any chance?
Yep.
So are you going to do the fire walk?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Maybe in the future we'll touch base again and to see what your experience is all about. I mean, I've heard a lot of great stories. I've had a guest on my show. His name was Jim Golfus, and he was on podcast number 6 or 7, and he shared with us his experience. And for him, it was fearful for an hour. He didn't want to go over the firewalk. Didn't want to go, but what pushed him is to move forward. Right in our life, we have our own firewalk, but if we able to think clarity and pursue, we can able to walk through and make things happen and have breakthroughs. So congratulations. Looking forward to hear some good stuff there. So appreciate you sharing your role model. So Kelly, do you do a lot of reading, obviously with a lot of authors. Can you recommend a book that you're reading lately or recently? What would you recommend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've mentioned already The Universe Has Your Back. One of the key books that led me to making this decision to leave the corporate world was Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Work Week. So
I have it right here on my bookshelf here as well. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so that's an awesome book, and it really just makes you think about, what am I doing with my life? I'm in this 9-to-5 rat race, and for what, I guess, and also just let you see other options that I think people don't realize exist sometimes. So that was brilliant, and I absolutely love Abraham Hicks. Just amazing. Asking It Is Given. I actually cried when I read that book for the first time. Really? Because I felt like the universe was literally talking to me, and it was so powerful. So yeah, they're my 3 topics.
Awesome. Kelly, you have no motivation at all. You could tell you have no motivation. I love it. So in a short paragraph or a statement, how would you define success? So now all this is happening to you. It's happening really quickly, and people are coming into your life right now. They're coming into your path. How would you define the success at this point here?
I honestly think I've learned that success is to be happy. I think that you can have everything in the world, and if you're not spiritually happy and spiritually connected to something bigger than yourself, then it's really, really difficult to be fundamentally, happy with your lot, because you're always going to want more. And that story I told about me going to Bali and realizing that there's so much more in the world, and that's really to just feel happy with who I am as a person, and also feel grateful every day for being alive in this body. And that for me is success.
Awesome. Thank you. And again, you indicated from the fact that you got the promotion, but after an hour or 2 or a few days, like, okay, what's next? I got the promotion. Then what? So you had to have a big failure. And I know you kind of, you mentioned it in your talk before. What would you say the biggest failure, but the biggest challenge or failure, may I say, that shifted you?
I mean, I think one of the parts of my life that was really challenging for me was when I was acting and singing. So I was about, basically from the age of 4, I was on stage and I was acting and singing, and I loved it. It was my absolute passion. It was so much fun, and I did shows, musicals, everything. And I ended up doing a tiny bit of TV work when I got into my teen years, and I did everything. I loved it. But once I got to 16, 17, I really started thinking, okay, I'm going to do this as a career. And that's when I went out into the big bad world, and I got down to the final 2 in every single audition. And every single audition, I was told, nope, sorry, you're not right for the part. nope, sorry, not this time. And that was the biggest failure for me at that point in my life. I found it so difficult to be rejected. I felt it. It was so personal to me. And I really, really struggled with that. And then, funnily enough, the next job that I went into after university, I went to university because I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. So after I went to university, I ended up in recruitment, and that was constant rejection, because that your job is literally to pick the phone up and for people to dislike you before they even speak to you. All they need to hear is, I'm a recruitment consultant.
I still get the cold calling.
Up.
I cold calling every night for a product or service. It's one of you, right? You have
yeah, exactly.
But you learn, but that's a lesson learned though, because by hearing no, yes, all in sales is, again, rejection. But it's the law of the average, right? So once you make 100 phone calls, 20% of the phone calls are successful.
Exactly. And that was my lesson. Like, I realized once I went into that industry that this is what makes you strong. This is what makes you resilient. This is what makes you able to do anything you want, because if you do it enough, you're going to succeed.
Super. I just discovered that you are singing and acting as well. So are you going to incorporate some singing in your teaching and the Soulmate Strategist work that you're doing?
I doubt it, but you never know.
I mean, I'm also a musician myself too. I'm a bass player for over 30 plus years. I've been in multiple bands here in New York. Yeah, and entertaining bands, some rock bands back in the day. I play a little acoustic also as well. And I'm also going to incorporate acoustic playing in my talks and presentation workshops as well. So I'm just encouraging, maybe next time we talk, you can pick up your maybe acoustic guitar and play. I could just feel the energy, you behind there and giving a little bit of a 4-chord tune and play, and who knows what can happen from there.
Yeah, let's have a jam next time.
Yeah, I love it. So I know, again, I want to appreciate your time, and this has been a wonderful audience. And folks, I hope you're out there. If you're driving, just again, maybe pull over, or take some notes, or when you're sitting back and having a cup of coffee, or having your adult drink, take some notes, because Kelly here just sharing us some of her journey, and this might match your journey as well and can inspire you and energize you. So Kelly, I really appreciate you giving yourself and sharing your journey with us here. So
thank you for having me.
Kelly, a couple more questions and before we wrap up here. I know that you've been on interviews already. People have been asking questions. If you were conducting this interview, what one question would you ask yourself?
Yeah, that's a good one. Good question. Excuse me.
Sure.
I think I would ask, what difficult situation has shaped your life the most?
Okay.
I think that would be it.
And of course you've answered it, and of course your experience from your childhood, singing, acting, and going into university and school, and again, it led you to who you are right now. And there's more to come of Kelly Pretty, right? Oh, by the way, Kelly Pretty, Pretty. Can you tell the audience, is that your real last name?
Yeah, it's my real last name, unfortunately. Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, and I got a lot of stick at school for it. So,
well, yeah, it's reinforcing. And again, you are a pretty woman out there. So awesome.
Thank you.
So I know that you have a strategy. You've got some coaches and mentors in your journey at this point. What legacy or imprint to the world you will leave behind? Let's say it's 100 years from now, and you've been traveling around the world. You went to Bali as well. You've been to all the corners of the earth, and you on stage with Gabrielle Bernstein, with Tim Ferriss, on stage, both of us on stage somehow, someday. And again, I'm just putting that out as an affirmation, speaking on the same stage. What would you leave behind? What would you say the 1-2 things you leave behind? A legacy of Kelly Pretty.
I would love my legacy to be that everyone in the world meditates. It's literally life-changing. And I honestly believe that meditation could cure all of the violence, hurt, and politics that's going on in today's world. And if everyone looked inward and everybody realized that we're all connected and we're all one, then they would lead with love. And I think that we would have the most incredible future ahead of us as a nation and then as a world, I guess.
Yeah, as a world community. And I totally agree. And this morning I've done my meditation. And again, for those of us out there, you said meditation. Well, meditation could be a prayer as well. Again, depending what you're looking at. But start with a minute, or 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And from 3 minutes becomes 5 minutes. From 5 minutes becomes 15. I had a hard time also, Kelly, going to the meditation in the last couple of years from the morning. And, of course, the attitude of gratitude. And when you come from a 15-minute, sometimes even I go into a half an hour. But if you invest in yourself, 5, 10, 15 minutes each day, it will make a difference. And again, it brings more joy and love and peace and tranquility in one's heart. And you mentioned about love, right? I'm gonna those of us, I'm on a video here. I have a hat here. It says love period. And when I wear this hat, by the way, this is a hat that was produced by the same gentleman who gave Dr. Wayne Dyer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the love period. And he wore that the year before, actually the whole year before he passed on. And when I wear this, I always have a conversation. And it says, what, love? Yeah, well, let's talk about it, you know. And love brings joy. Love brings peace and happiness and tranquility and a balance in one's life. And again, if we could bring some peace, like Mother Teresa, right? And she brought love and peace, and she never was an advocate of going to a rally of a war rally, but it was more of a peace rally, you know. Again, showing peace. So I hope your work, and again, I hope your work will definitely resonate unto the world. Kelly, I know that you have goals, and you mentioned 3 years. So you could share with the audience before we wrap up with a couple other questions here. Where do you see yourself in your business in 3 years? Can you share with us with that?
Yeah, of course. I think that in 3 years' time, and I have quite lofty goals because
Go ahead.
I like to work.
Bring them on, Kelly, because you inspire me also as well to push the envelope, you know?
Yeah. So in 3 years' time, I'd like to think that I am helping millions of people to find connected love to themselves firstly, and then with another. Because I really do believe that this world is pretty disconnected at the moment, but I really believe that there's practices that we can put into place that will really help us tune into who we truly are and then create the most amazing relationships in our life. And I really want to help people with that. I
love it. And I'm going to tie this in with this next question. What are you most proud of in your life lately? Come on.
I would definitely say taking risks. I think most people who know me think I'm absolutely crazy to give up a 6-figure salary and, a great lifestyle. I was going on 6 holidays a year, which is absolutely crazy.
6 holidays a year. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those of us who are listening here from the U.S. are probably saying, Kelly, pretty 6. Well, in Europe, I know typically in Europe we do have longer vacation. That's another thing maybe we could address in this country, how we need to take
I think so, yeah.
Rest and relaxation vacations. Wow. 6 holidays.
Yeah, it's crazy, I know. But my reason for saying that is not to boast or anything like that. It's just literally to show you that when you have that lifestyle, it really doesn't mean much at all unless you truly love who you are inside, and you're for me is being connected to something bigger than myself, because that means more to me now than anything material. And I think that the thing I'm most proud of is giving up that life for what could be seen as a risk by just literally spending all my money from my property into this business, because all I care about now is helping as many people as I possibly can to realize what I think is the truth, which is that the universe is here guiding us every day, and the law of attraction can literally make you so much happier in your life. And I really want to help people realize that.
Well, thank you for sharing that insight there. So Kelly, we're wrapping up this show here, and again, we greatly appreciate your time, giving your insights, and hope that our audience here find some great inspiring insights from your story, from your journey, Kelly. I'd like to ask you, where can the audience find you? I know you're on social media, and I'll also put it on the show notes, but where can we find you?
Oh, yeah, that would be great. I would love for you guys to connect with me. I am on Instagram, so I post content pretty much daily on Instagram, which hopefully inspires some people. So my Instagram name is @Kelly_pretty. You'll also find me on Twitter, which is Kelly_L_pretty. I'm also on Facebook. You just need to look for me. You've got my page there, which is Kelly Pretty, and I'll be down as the Love Mentor and Soulmate Strategist. And you've got my website too. So my website is www.kellypretty.me, and that's covering pretty much all bases. So catch me on there, subscribe, and you'll get some daily content. Well, it won't be daily, but it will be pretty much weekly content that will help you. I'm giving freebies away and all sorts to help you connect yourself.
Super. Thank you so much. So folks, we'll put the all that information on the show notes. So if you haven't had that time, you listen to this podcast on your way to work or way back home from your journey, wherever you are, sitting down on the beach, in the park, walking here. So folks, what Kelly Pretty brought us today is definitely a great story, a story of success, but how trials and tribulations got to where she is right now. She's persistent, she took risks, and she believes in herself and now helping others. And this goes in alignment, folks, in the X factors to success. As I always mention in my show, there are 5 X factors. So number 1, faith, your belief system, right? What you believe inside. Faith, family and friends, fitness, finance, and fun. 5 key pillars that embraces all what Kelly has experienced. So, Kelly, once again, you are just a jewel and a gem, and you exude so much energy and love of passion to what you're doing right now. I look forward to continue to follow you on your journey. And if you're in New York, in the States here, we have to connect again on whatever event that we're going to. And also I'm going to plant a little seed there. I'm planning in the near future to put a conference, an X Factors to Success Expo or Leadership Conference.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
And I might even extend an invitation to you to come and join me on stage, because I want to bring in people that are inspiring and energizing. So I'm just putting it out there, putting it out to the universe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That sounds brilliant.
And I know that we're all doing work to make a difference in the world. So I like to use a quote that I always say, and I've written in all my documentation: live life with purpose, passion, and make a difference. So once again, Kelly, thank you so much for your awesome time, your awesome insight, and I look forward to reconnect again very soon. And you are just amazing. So thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful, awesome day, week, and enjoy your journey, and we'll see each other again.
Thanks so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the X Factors to Success podcast radio show, and with this wonderful guest, Kelly Pretty from England, the UK. And we'll once again put all the show notes, and follow us on www.xfactors2success.com. That's right. That's the number 2. Follow us on Facebook, Facebook page. We have Twitter, and of course our Instagram. All that information will be on the show notes. So without further ado, once again, live with purpose, passion, and make a difference. Ciao.